welcome to another review. Today I'll be reviewing Beautiful. If you're not, then please be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified of future videos. But for now, on with the review. Beautiful is a 2000 American comedy drama movie directed by Sally Field in her feature movie directorial debut and written by Jon Bernstein. The plot follows Mona, who sacrifices everything, including family, in pursuit of a beauty pageant victory, while her friend Ruby helps her to an amazing degree. It may have been a critical and commercial failure during its release, but I personally couldn't give a rat's because I genuinely enjoy this movie. At first glance, it appears to be a movie about a superficial character who is so self-involved and obsessed with the glory of being a pageant queen, but that's just an initial reaction. If you care enough to look past that, you'll realize this actually has a lot of impactful messages that would honestly speak to a large percentage of people. Perhaps it wasn't perfectly executed, but that doesn't mean those messages aren't there. Our lead character Mona, played by Minnie Driver, is more complex than one might think. She's a woman who grew up unloved and uncared for and had to do everything for herself. From a very young age, she learned to be self-reliant, understanding no one was going to do things for her or hand her things. She had to do them herself. She had no father and a mother who didn't protect her, especially from her mother's loathsome boyfriend, who was indicated at having pedophilic tendencies. Instantly, you understand this character has had a rough childhood and her escape is pageants. This world that tells you you're beautiful and perfect and everyone wants to be you. These are all things she craves because she never had them in her real life. Pageants become her only way out of her circumstances. The pageant system opens a lot of doors to its contestants, especially those who win, so Mona has laser focus, which is understandable. At a young age, she meets her lifelong best friend Ruby, played by Joey Lauren Adams. They form an instant bond and Ruby becomes Mona's family. She's the first to be kind to her and treat her right, and so the two are always there for each other. Ruby is a natural-born carer, and we see that in every aspect of this movie. We also see that sometimes being that caring means you get taken advantage of, but it's not always out of malice. When Mona gets pregnant in her late teens, she sees her future and hopes of ever leaving her drab town vanishing before her eyes. Her loyal and loving friend adopts her child and raises her as her own. Now that's one hell of a friend. I love that when you see Vanessa, Mona's daughter played by Haley Kate Eisenberg, when you see the two interact, they're exact copies of each other, but there is so much animosity. Ultimately, Vanessa's anger comes from deep down knowing Mona is her real mother, but not understanding why things are the way they are. And for Mona, most of her anger is towards herself. She never claimed she didn't want to be a mother, but she genuinely believes she doesn't have what it takes. Growing up without that mother figure has convinced her she would be the same and that she doesn't have the tools to care for a child. The movie very dramatically takes Ruby out of the picture to force Vanessa and Mona to be together. They could have gone about this many ways, and yes, this route is highly over the top, but I still don't mind it. There are many aspects of it that are realistic, so I'm okay with it. As the movie goes on and we see more of the pageant world, we learn that it's not all cutthroat evil women consumed with beauty, which is what the world takes from pageants. Instead, we understand that for so many in the system, the lies they tell, the fake smiles they plaster on their faces all come from the same place: desperation. These are young, desperate women who will do anything, compromise and sacrifice so much in the hopes of having a better life than the one they have now. I'm not saying that applies to everyone, but this is one aspect of that world this movie chooses to address, and it's a side I appreciate and sympathize with. Near the end of the movie, a lot is put in perspective. It does make me wish that the emotions that were in this one scene could have been spread throughout the entire movie. At times, the tone of the movie comes off as stiff and uncomfortable, which I always took to be a reflection of the relationship between Mona and those around her, though I'm sure many will disagree and just say it was poorly done, but to each their own. At the end of the movie, Mona nearly destroys her chances at the crown by confessing that Vanessa is her daughter. Rules of the pageant state a mother is ineligible. While she makes this statement for herself, realizing maybe what she's been missing and trying to fill with pageants she could gain by giving and receiving the love of a child. But from the outside, it is seen as a daring protest statement which women around the country respond to, and for good reason. It is absurd to say a woman loses the rights to have dreams and ambitions, or that she can't be beautiful simply because she had a child. Mona viewed herself this way. It is antiquated, and her statement creates change, unintentional but very real. More is revealed in this scene. Mona's mother, who up until now we have simply had no reason to like or feel sympathy towards due to how she treated her daughter, in these scenes we see her sitting in front of the TV watching the pageants just like her daughter did growing up. When she cries at her daughter's confession and her daughter's win, it's actually a beautiful scene that finally allows us to understand her better. All the years she resented her daughter, not because she hated her, but because, very much like Mona, she more than likely saw her dreams and future vanish the moment she had a child, and with no one to help her, she was in it alone, and everything she did after that made her a very sad and unfulfilled woman. Then suddenly, right before her eyes, is her daughter making her see that she did do something worthwhile in life. Being a mother and having children did not make her less than anyone else, and being a mother does not mean you can't pursue your dreams. I can see why this movie wouldn't be for everyone. I can see the things about it critics wouldn't have liked, but I am just me and I can only speak for myself, and I personally love this movie. I loved the messages, I loved what I was able to take from it, and if you don't take away the same things I did, that's perfectly okay. I only recently learned this movie was directed by Sally Field, and it just made me love and appreciate it more. I just think this is a beautiful movie that really spoke to me. Have you seen this? Have you even heard of this? Comment down below and share your thoughts. Until next time, bye.
You've got to get up every morning with a smile on your face and show the world all the love in your heart. Then people gonna treat you better. You're gonna find, yes you will, that you're beautiful.